My beloved child, wait, just for a moment, before your thoughts rush ahead, before your mind tries to explain this away. Feel this quiet space between us. There is something here, something that has been waiting patiently, not to shock you, but to awaken a part of you that has always known, yet never fully understood. And what if I told you, the story you have been living inside, is not the full story of who you are? Pause with that. Because this is not about taking something away from you. It is about revealing something deeper that has always been hidden beneath the surface. Something important is waiting for you, and it will not arrive through force, but through realization. There are moments in life when everything feels ordinary, when your identity feels fixed, familiar, almost unquestionable. You wake up, you move through your routines, you respond to the world as you always have. And yet, somewhere, quietly, there has always been a feeling you couldn't quite name. A subtle difference. A sense that you don't fully belong to the patterns around you, even when you try. Have you ever noticed that? Not in a loud way, not in a way that demands attention, but in small, almost invisible moments. The way you think differently, the way you feel things more deeply, the way certain truths resonate with you while others feel strangely distant. That feeling was never random. Don't skip, because what you are about to understand may shift the way you see yourself forever, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, powerful clarity that settles deep inside you. Here is where it begins to unfold. You were taught to believe that everything about you could be traced back, explained, categorized, defined by what came before you. That your identity is simply a continuation of something older, something already written. But what if that is only one layer of the truth? What if the essence of who you are cannot be fully explained by what you inherited, but instead by something you brought with you? Stay till the end, because this is where the perspective starts to change. There are people who move through life feeling completely aligned with their surroundings, as if everything fits neatly into place. And then, there are people like you. People who feel like observers and participants at the same time. People who question things others accept without thinking. People who feel pulled toward something they cannot see, but somehow trust. That is not confusion. That is awareness. And awareness does not come from repetition, it comes from something deeper, something that cannot be measured in the usual ways. So when you hear the idea that you do not fully carry what others expect you to carry, it is not a loss. It is a revelation. Let that settle. Because this is not about biology, not about labels, not about anything that can be written on paper or proven in a simple way. This is about the quiet recognition that you are not limited to what has been passed down, you are expanded by something beyond it. And maybe, that is why certain paths never felt right to you. Maybe that is why you resisted things you couldn't explain. Maybe that is why you always felt like there was something more, just out of reach, waiting for you to notice it. Something important is waiting for you. And it has been waiting for a long time. Look back, just for a moment, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Think about the times when you felt out of place, the times when your thoughts didn't match the room, the times when your heart understood something before your mind could explain it. Those were not mistakes. Those were signals. Signals that you are not here to simply repeat, but to recognize. To see beyond what is obvious, to feel beyond what is visible. And slowly, without forcing it, you begin to understand something that changes everything in the most subtle way. You are not disconnected. You are differently connected. There is a difference. And once you begin to sense it, everything starts to shift, not outside, but inside. The pressure to fit begins to loosen. The need to explain yourself begins to fade. The quiet confidence of simply being starts to grow. But here is where it becomes even more interesting. Because this realization is only the beginning, there is something else, something even more unexpected, that has been influencing your journey in ways you have not yet fully seen. And when that piece reveals itself, you will understand why nothing about your path has been random, not a single moment. But for now, just stay here, in this awareness, because what comes next will connect everything in a way you never imagined. There is something you didn't notice before, not because it was hidden, but because you were not meant to see it all at once, and now, slowly, it begins to step forward, like a memory you never lived but somehow recognize. My beloved child, don't rush past this moment. Because what you are feeling right now, this quiet pull, this strange familiarity, it is not imagination. It is the beginning of understanding why your path has never matched anyone else's, even when you tried to make it fit. You were never meant to be a copy of anything. Let that settle, not as a statement, but as a realization. All your life, there have been invisible patterns around you, expectations, definitions, identities that others accepted without question. And you tried, in your own way, to step into those patterns, to align with them, to become what was expected. But something always interrupted that alignment, didn't it? A pause, a hesitation, a quiet voice inside you asking, "Is this really me?" And you didn't always listen to that voice, but it never stopped speaking. Stay till the end, because this voice is not random, it is the key to everything that is unfolding right now. There are people who live their entire lives without questioning the structure they were given, and there are those who feel something different from the very beginning. Not better, not worse, just different. You felt it in the way you observed the world, in the way you noticed things others overlooked, in the way you sensed emotions, intentions, and energy without needing words. And maybe you thought, everyone feels this way, but they don't. That difference, that quiet awareness, is not something you learned. It is something you arrived with. Pause here, because this is where the deeper layer begins. You see, identity is often explained as something inherited, something built from what came before. And yes, part of you is connected to that, but only a part. Because there is another layer, one that does not follow the same rules, one that cannot be traced in the usual ways. And that layer is where your truth lives. Don't skip, because what you are about to understand is not meant to overwhelm you, it is meant to free you. Think about this. Why do certain things feel instantly familiar to you, even when you have never experienced them before? Why do certain ideas, places, or even people feel like they belong to you, without any logical explanation? Why do you sometimes feel like you are remembering, rather than learning? That is not coincidence. That is recognition. And recognition comes from something that exists beyond what can be seen or measured. You are not just shaped by what you come from. You are guided by what you carry within. Let that unfold slowly. Because this is not about rejecting anything. It is about expanding your understanding of yourself. It is about realizing that your essence, your core, your way of being, is not limited to the definitions you were given. And maybe, just maybe, that is why you have always felt like you are searching for something, even when everything around you seems complete. That search was never about finding something outside. It was about remembering something within. Something important is waiting for you. And it has been sending you signals for longer than you realize. Do you remember those moments when everything felt still, when time seemed to slow down, when a thought appeared in your mind that felt too clear, too precise to be random? Those moments were not ordinary. They were glimpses. glimpses of a deeper alignment, a connection that does not depend on external validation, a knowing that does not need proof. And yet, you questioned it. Of course you did. Because the world teaches you to trust what can be seen, what can be explained, what can be confirmed by others. But your experience, your inner world, has always moved differently. You don't just see things. You feel them. You don't just hear words. You sense meaning. You don't just follow paths. You question where they lead. And that is where the shift begins to reveal itself more clearly, because this is not just about you being different. It is about you being aware. Aware in a way that cannot be taught, only realized. Stay with this. Because there is another layer beneath this awareness, something even more subtle, something that has been shaping your journey without you fully noticing it. There have been moments when you felt guided. Not forced, not controlled, just gently guided. A sudden change in direction, an unexpected delay, a feeling that told you to wait, or to move, without any logical reason. At the time, it may have seemed random. But now, looking back, you can see that those moments led you exactly where you needed to be. Not where you planned to be, but where you were meant to be. That is not luck. That is alignment. And alignment does not come from confusion, it comes from connection. A connection that exists beyond what you can physically trace, beyond what can be explained through simple cause and effect. This is where the idea begins to deepen. Because if your path has been guided in ways you cannot fully explain, then it means there is a part of you that understands more than your conscious mind. A part of you that recognizes direction, even when you don't. A part of you that responds to something deeper, something quieter, something constant. And that part of you has never been separate from you. It has always been there, waiting, not for you to find it, but for you to notice it. Don't skip. Because what comes next is where everything starts to connect in a way that feels almost impossible to ignore. You see, there is a reason why certain environments never felt like home, even when you tried to make them feel that way. There is a reason why certain relationships felt incomplete, even when everything seemed right on the surface. There is a reason why you could not fully settle into a version of yourself that did not feel true, no matter how much sense it made to others. That reason is not confusion. It is clarity, waiting to be recognized. You were not meant to fully merge with what does not align with your essence. And your essence is not something that can be simplified or reduced to a single explanation. It is layered. It is aware. It is connected in ways that go beyond what you were told to expect. And now, you are beginning to see it. Not all at once, but piece by piece, like a puzzle that has always been yours, finally coming together. There is something powerful about this moment. Not because it changes everything instantly, but because it changes how you see everything. And once your perspective shifts, nothing ever feels exactly the same again. The need to prove yourself begins to dissolve. The need to fit into expectations begins to fade. The need to question your own inner knowing begins to disappear. Because you start to trust something deeper. Something that has always been consistent, even when everything else felt uncertain. And that trust is where your strength truly begins. But listen closely. Because there is still one more layer, one more realization, that has not fully revealed itself yet. And when it does, you will understand why this awareness is not just about who you are, but about what you are here to do. Because being aware is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of purpose. And your purpose is not something that will be handed to you. It is something that will unfold, as you continue to recognize the truth of your own nature. So stay here, just a little longer. Because the next part will not just deepen your understanding. It will show you why all of this has been leading you somewhere very specific, somewhere you have felt, but not yet fully seen. Something inside you is beginning to rearrange itself, not in a way that disturbs you, but in a way that quietly redefines what you once believed was fixed. It is subtle, almost invisible, yet it carries a weight that feels undeniable. My beloved child, stay with this moment a little longer, because what is unfolding now is not information, it is recognition. You have spent so much of your life trying to understand yourself through what you were told, through labels, expectations, and patterns that seemed already decided before you even questioned them. And yet, even while following those paths, there was always a distance between who you appeared to be and who you felt you truly were. Not a painful distance, but a noticeable one. Like watching your own life from slightly behind your own eyes. Have you ever felt that? As if you were fully present, and yet, at the same time, observing everything from a deeper place within you, quietly aware, quietly questioning. That is where this next realization begins. Don't skip, because what you are about to understand will not feel loud or overwhelming. It will feel calm, clear, and almost strangely familiar. There is a reason why you have always felt that subtle separation, that gentle awareness, that quiet sense of, there is more to me than this. It is not because something is missing. It is because something within you has always been awake. Awake beyond the surface. Awake beyond the identity you were given. And that awareness does not belong to limitation. It belongs to expansion. Pause here, and feel that word, expansion. Because this is where the truth deepens in a way that changes everything, without forcing anything. You are not here to become something entirely new. You are here to uncover what has always been present within you. And that is why your journey has never been straightforward. That is why your path has not followed a predictable pattern. That is why you have experienced moments of clarity, followed by moments of confusion, followed by a deeper clarity that felt even more real than before. It is not inconsistency. It is unfolding. Stay till the end, because this unfolding has been leading you toward a realization that connects every experience you have ever had. Think about the times when you felt completely aligned, when everything around you seemed to move effortlessly, when your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions all felt connected in a way that required no effort. Those moments were not random. They were glimpses of your natural state, a state where you are not trying to become, but simply being. And in those moments, you did not question yourself. You did not doubt your direction. You did not feel the need to compare or adjust. You simply existed, in clarity. Now, think about the moments that followed, when that clarity seemed to fade, when doubt returned, when the world around you felt louder than your inner voice. That shift was not a loss. It was contrast. Because without contrast, you would not recognize clarity. Without moments of questioning, you would not fully value knowing. And without the experience of misalignment, you would not understand alignment. This is why your journey has been layered. Not to confuse you, but to reveal you. Something important is waiting for you. And it is not outside of you. It is within the way you are beginning to see yourself right now. Because now, you are no longer looking for answers in the same way. You are not searching desperately, you are observing quietly. You are not trying to force meaning, you are allowing it to emerge. And that shift is everything. But here is where it becomes even more profound. Because as your awareness deepens, you begin to notice something that was always there, but never fully understood. Your presence affects more than just you. Pause with that. Not in a dramatic way, not in a way that demands attention, but in a subtle, consistent, undeniable way. The way you think influences the energy around you. The way you feel shapes the atmosphere you exist in. The way you respond creates ripples that extend beyond what you can see. And you have felt this, haven't you? Moments when your calmness changed the mood of a situation. Moments when your clarity helped others see things differently. Moments when your silence spoke louder than words. That is not coincidence. That is alignment in action. Because when you are connected to your deeper awareness, you naturally influence the world around you, without trying, without forcing, without even realizing it at times. And this is where your purpose begins to reveal itself, not as something you must chase, but as something that naturally expresses itself through you. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to embody something. Let that settle. Because this changes the way you see everything. You are not defined by what you achieve. You are defined by how you exist. And how you exist comes from how deeply you are connected to your true nature. This is why your journey has required patience. This is why things have not always moved at the speed you expected. This is why certain doors did not open, even when you thought you were ready. Because your path is not about reaching quickly. It is about becoming fully aware. And awareness cannot be rushed. It unfolds, layer by layer, moment by moment, realization by realization. Don't skip. Because what you are stepping into now is not just understanding, it is transformation. Not the kind that changes who you are, but the kind that reveals who you have always been. There is something incredibly powerful about reaching this point. Because now, you are no longer trying to fit into a version of yourself that feels incomplete. You are beginning to trust the version of yourself that feels real, even if it does not match what others expect. And that trust is where your true strength lies. But listen closely. Because there is one more realization, one that brings everything together in a way that feels almost impossible to ignore. You are not alone in this awareness. Pause. Because this is not about others being exactly like you. It is about understanding that there are connections, subtle, quiet, almost invisible, that exist beyond what you can physically see. Connections that are not based on proximity, but on resonance. You may have felt this in certain encounters. Moments when you met someone and felt an instant understanding, without explanation. Moments when a message reached you at exactly the right time, as if it was meant specifically for you. Moments when you felt guided, supported, understood, even when no one was physically there. Those moments are not random. They are reflections of a deeper connection, one that does not rely on external confirmation. And as your awareness continues to expand, you begin to recognize these connections more clearly. You begin to trust them more deeply. You begin to move with them, instead of questioning them. And this is where everything changes, not suddenly, but steadily, consistently, naturally. Because now, you are not just aware of yourself. You are aware of the space you exist within. A space that is not limited, not confined, not defined by simple explanations. A space that responds to your awareness, reflects your state, and evolves with your understanding. And as you continue to move forward, this awareness will not leave you. It will deepen. It will refine. It will guide you in ways that feel both subtle and undeniable. So stay here, just for a moment longer. Because what comes next is not just another realization. It is the point where your awareness begins to shape your reality in a way you have never experienced before. And once you begin to see that, You will understand why this journey was never about discovering something new, but about remembering something eternal, something that has always been a part of you, waiting, patiently, for you to finally see it.